Wow, that was close. I'm Jason Brody with NBC News, landing with the U.S. invasion force near St. George's in Grenada. A force of 7,300 American troops has been dispatched to the island, by order of the President, to overthrow the Communist People's Revolutionary Government of Grenada. Only days ago, the Deputy Prime Minister, Bernard Couillard, backed by Grenada's military, deposed of Prime Minister Maurice Bishop and established military rule. With the construction of a 10,000-foot airfield that has the potential of being used for communist activities and this recent military coup, President Reagan is concerned that this new communist government could provide a foothold for new leftist governments in the Caribbean. Back to you, Tom.
Thank you for joining us tonight for our special on the invasion of Grenada. Recent events such as U.S. intervention in Libya, as well as the war on terror, have highlighted the growth of presidential power in the U.S. Where did this come from? We have to look at precedents from earlier administrations to see where this came from. In Libya, Obama deployed American forces without the approval of Congress. Similarly, Reagan deployed a sizable force of American troops to Grenada, acting on his own accord rather than with a formal declaration of war from Congress. Our former foreign correspondent, Jason Brody, was embedded with the invasion force during the operation. Jason Brody, how are you?
Good, and you?
Fantastic. So here we are 30 years later from your time in Grenada. What was it like being in the front lines?
It wasn't like anything I had experienced before. I encountered several close calls and saw some good, brave men die. I was only there for a couple of weeks, but the operation went smoothly. I believe 19 American troops were killed and just over 100 were wounded. The Cubans and Grenadians suffered far more casualties, however.
Let's look at the implications of the invasion. Reagan acted consistently with, but not directly under, the War Powers Resolution. Because Congress and the public approved, the President did not have any fear of retribution. Do you think there was an abuse of presidential power?
Well, although the political goals of the invasion were achieved and were in U.S. interests, the action was called a flagrant violation of international law, and this was a major military operation with boots on the ground. Since Operation Urgent Fury was within 2 months, it was not technically violating the War Powers Resolution, but it made a precedent for further actions such as in Kosovo, or more recently, in Libya.
Okay, so do you view the invasion as a plus or a minus when all is said and done?
Well, I believe that it was certainly in American interest to invade given the urgency of the situation. There is no denying the fact that something had to be done to protect the 800 medical students that were in imminent danger. The fact that the UN condemned it and that thousands of troops in the American military were mobilized mean that I believe it should have received formal approval from Congress.
Director Oliver Stone said, "Bogged down in protracted proxy wars in Nicaragua and El Salvador, and haunted by the memory of defeat in Vietnam, which he called a noble cause, Reagan hungered for an easy military victory to restore American self-confidence." Do you agree with this statement?
I believe this is accurate because Reagan was looking for an opportunity to look strong on defense in an era of high foreign policy tensions during the Cold War. Although there was an appeal for aid from the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, this was requested by the United States itself. Given these factors, I believe that this was an example of American imperialism at its finest, and showcases how American presidential power can be used to achieve goals at the expense of other nations' sovereignty and respect.
Well, thank you, Jason. But that's all the time we have. Join us next week for Partisan Disagreement Roundtable at 6.